Hello and welcome to our podcast, Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm Lauren. And I'm Michelle. And we're so excited you stopped by for a visit. Come on in. Yeah, make yourself at home. We're two Midwestern sisters who love a good old-fashioned conversation and enjoy sharing our life experiences with one another and you. Consider this your one-stop shop for cozy, mindful well-being, along with some entertainment and lots of wheezy laughing. Oh, you bet there'll be a lot of that going around. Our goal is to live our coziest life and inspire you to do the same because the truth is, we think it's good for your mind and your body. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, let's get cozy. Well, hi there. Ho there. Hey. I'm trying to introduce us.
I know.
Welcome to Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm your host, Lauren.
And I'm your other host, Michelle. And I want to say, what is up?
What is up?
What is up?
The only thing that's up is hopefully your volume, because we have a great podcast episode for you guys today. And also we have a ton of reviews coming in. Listen, we asked, you listened. You guys are
answered.
Awesome.
So cool.
Listeners, and we appreciate the time. One of you wrote a novel, and you know who you are. We're going to get to you next week or in the week after. We've got a lineup now. I mean, we literally have reviews to put into a dates.
Talk about harnessing, stating, and claiming, which we'll talk about later.
In the podcast, absolutely. Michelle, you're going to take this one from Fearless and 40, and I am stoked that we have a listener all the way out there in Alabama.
Alabama,
Michelle,
baby.
take it away.
Bammy. I will take it away. Hey, Fearless and 40 says, new happy place with 5 stars. Shout out from Alabama to the Cozy Ladies. You guys freaking rock. I look forward to your podcast so much every week. Your realness is such an inspiration, has actually inspired my bestie and I to put ourselves out there and start our own podcast. I grew up in Minneapolis. Your Midwestern voices and convos are so comforting. Thank you for all of your fun stories and honest moments. You guys are doing great things. Keep it going and growing.
Man.
Wow.
Thank you, Fearless and 40.
Fearless and 40.
I mean, your name says it all.
Podcast?
I know.
Hell
your
yeah.
name says it all. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. When it's up and running, dude, send us a little Instagram IG message and let us know what you guys are talking about. We can't wait to hear it. Congratulations.
And if you need a tip, and if you need any tips or you're looking for, just reach out. I'll hot tip.
Just the tip.
Just
only
the tip. That's it.
Only the tip. That's it. The only thing you'll get from
Happy
her,
to help.
The tip.
Good for you guys, and thanks for that review.
Listeners, thank you so much for hearing our pleas and taking the time to write these reviews. And if you haven't yet, that doesn't mean there's still not time. There are plenty of time and moments and spaces for you to write your reviews. So please do so. If you're listening to this episode today, do me a favor and Michelle a favor and send this episode. Just put it in the link to share, and share this with your best girlfriend. Just share it. And dudes out there who listen, send it to your wife. They're going to really like this episode, actually.
But they might be too busy because they're just orbiting around their husband. Oh, that was so sarcastic.
Michelle,
I'm so sorry.
It's not about you, dear listeners.
I'm pissed off.
She's still mad at Harrison.
I'm pissed
and
off.
his gross beard. But we'll get to that too in the podcast episode today. You guys, thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the episode. And as always, stay cozy. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. It's great. You know what has been popping up in my TikTok feed? So I think it's been popping up in your TikTok feed.
What?
Have you been seeing the lady that's giving, she's holding voice lessons for kids and showing them the different way?
How to she was saying
create more
throw
different sounds and going in the head voice.
So this woman is a Broadway, I believe she's a theater Broadway voice coach. And she gets these, and it's all, I was watching one young lady. It's not like she wasn't opening her mouth enough. She wants her mouth to basically be touching the floor.
Yep.
To project that Broadway boom.
Do you know who Adam Lambert is? He won American Idol.
He's Queen. He's like the new cover.
He's the front man for Queen.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Yes.
He is exceptionally good at hitting those high reaching, like really stretching his voice. That, like with his jaw. It's very showy.
He's very showy.
Theatrical.
Yeah, I've never seen him. I know that he won American Idol, but I've never seen him perform. And I'm a huge fan of Queen, so maybe I should check him out. But maybe there's a little part of me that's like, no one could replace Freddie Mercury.
But he does a pretty damn good job, I gotta say.
Okay, I'll check him out.
But Freddie Mercury is just, both of them have a way of drawing you in for two different reasons. For me, for Freddie, I connected him right out of the gate because he and I shared the same set of teeth for many years.
I knew you were going to say that.
And then, he likes to belt it, which he's like the master of belting. But then Adam Lambert brings he's just fabulous. He's
a
fabulous.
Showman. Yes.
He is.
I know he's got a vibe. He has very glittery, sparkly costumes and makeup and eyeliner.
Heavy eyeliner, which you're a fan of.
Yeah, no, I'm actually not. I'm a fan of very subtle eyeliner.
Oh, so you're not liking what JoJo Siwa's doing right now? Do you like her new look?
I'm probably going to get hollered.
No, you're not. I cannot
stand JoJo Siwa.
I'm done.
You know what? But my friend Maggie did remind me that she is very
annoying.
Young.
Oh, what?
She's 21 and she just turned 21. She's so 21 that she went to Disney World and got drunk
right there
around the world. I'm just over her stupid dance moves. I'm happy for her that she's living in her true identity, that she feels comfortable in the skin that she's in. I am here for that, but she's still annoying.
Well, and hopefully she's a good person because karma's a bitch.
In the world, Michelle.
Karma's a bitch.
It's a catchy song. It's a catchy song.
And she says, she's like, you guys can't stop singing it. And as much as I hate her and I want to rip off her bedazzled construction worker's vest, light it on fire, and then push her off a cliff.
That. I know she's
push her off a cliff.
She's going through that phase and she will look back and be like, probably a little regretful of the sparkly construction worker vest.
I like how she's just walking around town telling everybody that she's the first person to ever make such a big change in style and genre. I'm like, do you know who Lady Gaga is?
Beyonce is literally a cowgirl now. She's a cow woman.
How about Madonna?
She wasn't three. I know Madonna's gone from
these
geisha.
Are these people are I
think
Camille. They've changed.
She rolled back on that comment.
She's an idiot. She's an idiot. And everybody read the comments. People are like, not you again.
Oh no, that poor thing. She's getting it. Well, you know what? I wouldn't want to be 21 in the limelight at the same time. I wouldn't want to be going through that shift. And because when you're 21 to 25, I feel like you can actually be really stupid. You're either not stupid.
Stupid, all right.
I don't know if I would, you're kind of like.
The lobe's not formed. And hers is still the size of a walnut.
Oh my god.
I'm done.
I'm done too. I'm actually done with quite a few people on the old TikTok.
Same.
Michelle, we follow this chef guy that has
Will?
serial killer vibes. Yeah, Will. And he's like, for breakfast today, I've made you a blanched asparagus quiche topped with just a touch of asparagus sprouts with crumbled feta, whipped to perfection. And this guy is just, you know what? I don't know what's creepier, him or now his girlfriend, who's absolutely stunning. And has the most bodacious boobs you will ever see.
And the most perfect, gorgeous red hair.
Gorgeous.
Porcelain
but now
doll.
They're doing porny type, softcore, I'm horny for you videos. And I'm over it. I'm over them being so horny on TikTok. Go have sex and then come back and make your content.
That's interesting. I wonder because I took the deep dive, not the deep dive, but I'm pretty sure that she has a For You page where she makes shitloads of money being sexy. Yeah. And I'm just wondering if biz isn't that good and that's why they're going to a different medium, or a platform.
Wait,
I don't know what's going on there.
Page. She has
I'm sorry, not a For You page. What is the page?
OnlyFan?
She's an OnlyFan. Sorry.
Oh,
I believe that's how
she makes sense.
Come on,
because she is oozing fuck me. I'm so and I'm like,
and people are
so
all
over
for it. Yeah,
well,
you are
gorgeous,
but she's got a following.
But that's not what I'm on TikTok for. So I need my recipes back. I need some funny black talk. I love black content creators. Why isn't my feed filled with them?
Because right now it's filled with Broadway singing lessons and
horny content couples
and fucking trampoline exercises. Because my phone heard me having a conversation with Jen Pohl, my good friend, about how she's going to get this trampoline and she's going to start. And then she's sending me TikToks of new workouts.
And now
that's
why my content.
Have you seen the trampoline
yes,
workouts?
I can't. No,
actually, Lauren, you'll laugh at this though, really quick. I occasionally walk where my kids are if they're on the phone, and I'll go, what's the algorithm bringing you? And I just do this funny, show me what the algorithm's delivering you. And he's like, let's check it out. So we're scrolling, and it's sports, whales or something.
Wait, I also find that this has got to be a very smart, sneaky way to also see what are you looking at, right?
Well, yes, that's what I'm doing. And they know that now. We're at that age where I'm just like,
yeah,
sure.
But
you're going to love it, what I did next. And
Okay.
so is the listener, because I grabbed his phone and I said, well, let me have your phone. And I said, Will also loves to learn about self-improvement, how to save money. And he also is super interested in books. And he was like, you're crazy.
I hope his whole TikTok is now about like financial wellness and
so you guys, just the phone's listening. So if you want to kind of add some content that you think is worthy,
someone mentioned a product the other day in front of me and we talked about it for 5 seconds and sure enough, the ads were on my phone. It is so creepy. It's so weird. So yeah, that friend was actually, we were in Wyoming.
Oh,
Michelle,
let's hear it.
We went to Jackson, Wyoming. Hey, check this out. I got a cool new coaster. Cowhide.
I'm obsessed with it.
It's beautiful. And I really am into.
I am obsessed with that, Lauren.
I know. It's pretty cool, isn't it? I should order
really cool.
Yeah, super cool. I just need one for my desk.
Thanks for flapping that right into the camera.
You're so welcome. My pleasure. Flapping skin.
Yep.
Oh, that's gross. It was an incredible trip. So myself and 5 lady friends flew down to Jackson. The flight wasn't that bad. You fly to Denver. It's like 2 hours or something. And then it's an hour flight, 2.5 hours, then an hour flight from Denver to Jackson Hole. And then you're in Jackson Hole. It's the only airport, if I have this correct. Everyone always fact check me, please. But I'm pretty sure.
Well, if you're saying that, and me too. Okay, carry on.
Because you hear things. You're like, did I hear that right? I'm almost certain that it's the only airport that is on a national park land. So the airport's in the national park.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
This was your first time to Jackson Hole, right?
Yes, it was. Okay. It was my first time and I've heard such incredible things about it. And I'm so excited to report that there's no disappointment. The only disappointment is that they don't do great craft cocktails, but no biggie. They make up for it in good beers and some decent wine. So
were you able to travel with any cannabis on this trip to enhance your experience?
Yes, of course, because I mean honestly I always do, and I know people ask, how do you do it? Well, I just put in my luggage. Just put in my luggage and just hope for the best. Back in the day before, like legalities and states started legalizing, I would honestly go in and almost have an anxiety attack.
Same.
Like I saw a dog, I'm like, oh my God, he's going to sniff out that one gummy that I stuffed in a sock, that's in a shoe, that's in a little, cube.
But they're not sniffing for that.
They're not sniffing. They're sniffing for bombs and human trafficking.
Yep, exactly.
Basically.
And fruit.
And fruit, because they will pull you over for an apple that's not native to the U.S. soil. Yep, that's happened to you.
Been there.
You recently told that story. So I brought, as usual, my Juanas, because here's the deal. I brought my Lost Farm.
Fun for everyone.
Gummies. Yeah. Good time vibes only. I mean, giggles all the way. And those are those Durban Poison ones. Then I also loved my 5-to-1 for chill. Just chill out. I did not over imbibe this weekend. There were times where I'm like, I'm good. I don't even need a drink here and there. So it felt good to just kind of also not feel like shit because I overdrank, which I haven't done in a long time anyways. But you never know. You may be in a girl's trip. You're like, I'm just going to go
and sometimes
bananas.
It happens where you accidentally have a little too much.
And there was an opportunity for that to happen because we went to this place called the $1 Million Cowboy Bar. And I kept calling it Cowboy Millionaire Bar because there's a lot of words going on there.
Got it. I could see how you Slumdog Millionaire. I could see where you're going.
Dude, this bar, you walk in, at first you're like, okay, it's like must go to, it's on TikTok. Everyone says you got to go. And at first you're kind of like, is this going to be kind of gross and lame? It is so cool. First of all, there's huge neon lights and a guy on a rodeo, on the outside. So it's a whole marquee kind of event. You walk up to it. There's a $15 cover because there's a live band. The seats at the bar are saddles. So you can hop on one of those and have a seat. No, seriously. And, it felt so good to order a cold ass Miller Lite.
Hell yeah.
And, and everyone was just,
do they serve it to, were you drinking into a bottle or a giant mug? Hell yeah, man.
A bottle, which is the way I would want it. And let me tell you something, the band was great. There was dancing. You can tell it's a whole different culture.
And what kind of dancing? Were we doing country?
Country,
line?
Couples, people dancing together. We couldn't see all of it, but I saw also on videos, almost dancing together, like, you know, like how you do in like at a dance, but they're having a little bit, they're good dancers. We didn't make it to the dance floor because you couldn't bring your bottle out there. And someone was like, just leave it on the bar. And I'm like, absolutely
that's
not.
a no.
I'm not getting my butthole fingered
for the guy that thinks I'm sexy and is going to roofie me when I walk away. Thank you, no.
Absolutely not. I mean, I'm pretty, absolutely not. So then we just had such a ball, people watching, like, I mean, legit cowboys, you know, like guys in cowboy boots and, you know, like the hats and like they take, excuse me, ma'am. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, like it's a totally different. Yeah. Here, like they elbow you in Chicago. They're like out of my way. Excellent experience. But I have to tell you that it did get interesting. At one point, the band, Jason Mayer, not to be confused with John Mayer, who my friend Devin was like, John Mayer's playing. We're like, he's
would have died.
Just kidding, it's Jason.
Would have died.
He played the national anthem, the Jimi Hendrix version, which is so cool.
And it's just instrumental, right?
It's just like a guitar.
Electric guitar.
Yeah. It's just got a vibe to it and you're listening to it and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, you got some people standing up and, you know, showing their patriotism. The Patriots start standing up and they take their,
games.
Yeah, and then it's all fun games of the Patriots stand up, take their hats off and they're like, you know, putting their hat over their heart. And you know what, for me, listen, there may be some vets there. I am okay. Totally. That's fine. But I will tell you,
we're not talking about those Patriots. We're not talking about the actual Patriots.
Wait, I'm not done.
Okay, hang on.
Because those Patriots started up when they started chanting USA. USA.
And that's why I buy my first class ticket to Italy. And I'm done. Bye-bye.
And then we left. Because honestly, it does set a tone for me personally. I'll speak on my behalf. It's kind of to me, I know it's supposed to be like fun and jovial, but it seems aggressive, knowing kind of like the backgrounds of some of maybe belief systems. So you know what? We kindly exited. But I will tell you, had there been no chanting, I have a very firm belief that we would have been that would have been maybe the one night I had maybe a couple more Miller Lights.
Hell yeah.
Found ourselves at the dance floor and we had a blast for the hour that we were there. I highly recommend people going there. God, what a blast. And then the chanting came, which is when I see ya.
All fun and
games. Spooky.
Well, because the thing is, you know, you're listening to that Jimi Hendrix version of that is incredible. It's iconic.
Yeah,
it's like, it's stunning.
Yeah.
And to be able to enjoy something like that. Now
I felt lucky to enjoy that. I was like, wow, that's really talented. That person's just riffing this and getting through. But then it turns into the Patriots.
Then you know what? When the Patriots, then I'm seeing my TikTok screen with people. When you're asking somebody to explain their strong view about why they are voting for the biggest patriot of all, and they can't explain it. They don't know why. And that's when I start. That's where I'm like, and you're all coupled into a patriot space, and we're going to talk about
another patriot later because Harrison Butker.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through it. I don't know if I'm going to be able. I will help. The rage from that moron is more than I can handle. But
okay,
we'll get to it later.
We'll get there. Just a few more things on Jackson Hole. We did a sunrise at Oxbow Bend, which was unbelievable. Wake up at 4:30, drove an hour, saw like it was still dark. There were elk on the side of the road, and it's dark. There's only some like reflectors, you know, on the side of the road, and you're driving through, you know, the mountains. It's so cool. We get to Oxbow Bend. I didn't know what to expect. I thought that the sunrise would come from behind the mountains and we were going to see some really cool colors in that aspect in the sky with, you know, the silhouette of the mountains. But no, it was totally different, which I was really surprised by. Oxbow Bend, you have a view, I believe it is, of one of the great Grand Tetons. So one of the mountains, and actually the sunrise is rising in front of it. So it goes from this like white snow-capped mountain to this like blush pink. Beautiful. And it just starts to wake up. And I assume that on other days there are magnificent colors. We got a treat because there were a ton of photographers they are not polite to one another. You'd think they'd be like, really? You know, like, oh no, man, they are fighting for the perfect spot. They yelled at one guy they're like, get out of the photo. Just another guy that walked down. One guy was hilarious. Like, do not set your stuff up in front of me. Like they're not.
God. Now,
it's a different kind of.
Is that a sign of the time or is that just the photog culture? You know, are we just all fucking assholes now or are just photogs really territorial?
I think that's a good point. I think they are looking for the best ink, Michelle, maybe a combination. But I will tell you something. It was absolutely magnificent to see a little bit of color that we saw. And in front, there was, one of the, I don't know what you call them, like the little guide, like the little, it's like a guide, but it's the pamphlet, like the little poster thing,
like
the framed,
info, the info sign, the information
info.
sign.
Listen,
together we will find our way to where we need to go. Yeah,
we always find our way. And it was talking about how like the Native Americans back then would come down, and of course they would see sunrise because they were living on the land, but they would be at Snake River during the warmer months, fishing, living near the water, and then during the cold months they would pack up and go. But it was really incredible to be standing in a spot where indigenous people of the land had been there and they had such great and profound respect for Mother Nature. It was just it was pretty powerful because you're sitting there being like, wow, there's a groups of people from many, many years ago that have witnessed this in extraordinary circumstances. Yeah.
I love going to places. In fact, we kind of, when my friend and I were walking on the trail yesterday, we had a very similar just conversation where she was like, do you know what Indian tribe kind of inhabited this part of North America way back when? Didn't know the answer to that, but just the idea that those people were cruising through different parts of where we've lived or where you visited, and to imagine what it might have looked like.
Yeah, our state, we're a prairie state, and there was a lot of people living here. I remember growing up, I will say I have really fond memories of going to a place called Camp Timberlea when we were in 4th grade. My fellow SJC Wildcat listeners will have, did you do Camp Timberlea, Michelle?
No.
It was pretty cool. And you just learn about like archaeology.
I feel like you guys did like Laura's sports. You guys did some fun camps. Yeah, we did Laura's
sports camp in Iowa for sure. I'm super intrigued. Actually, we're going to get to this about books, but I'll ask now, if anyone has a really cool book to recommend when it comes to Native Americans and like the first people here, I would love to read it. Please make it be a page turner.
Yes.
Because I can't sleep. I'm sleeping through books right now and I'm in a bad book phase.
I feel like Jen Cahill, if you're listening, share some of the I feel like she might be a good resource for this
I'll take anything
section of history.
Go to the library. I believe in the Grand Tetons. Again, fact check me. The Papagos Native Americans were one of the first tribes that lived on the land. It's incredible. So far long ago.
You know what? You're making me want to watch Dances with Wolves.
Well, I'm wanting to watch freaking Yellowstone now. I'm like, and Dances with Wolves. Oh my God. What
amazing
we were just talking about Kevin Costner today. Because that's Kevin Costner, right?
Yeah.
But all in all, I give Jackson Hole like an A+. What a wonderful. We did a float trip at like almost an almost 2-hour float trip.
Hang on a
down
second.
The Snake River.
So, but I saw you guys were on
we were in
rafts.
We were in a raft. You were in a big raft.
But then
not whitewater rafting.
Were you bathing suiting it up, or were you in full street clothes?
It was
okay,
cold.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, no. During the summer, maybe you would like pop. I mean, I'm sure it gets hot. There's like no coverage, and the sun on a clear day would be pretty hot. But I highly recommend it. If anyone needs any recommendations, give me a shout because it's so worth. It's a family place. You can make it. It's very up. You can be really luxurious and stay at a place like Amangani, which is like a super uber luxurious hotel in the Grand Tetons. I mean, we went for drinks and our drinks for like a couple, it was like, I don't know, like with tip, like $400. It was silly.
Yeah.
But it's worth going to for the experience. And if you're fortunate enough to stay there, good Lord,
have a blast.
Yeah. So that was great. Yeah. I'm so excited to be back. One last thing. We were shopping, great shopping in Jackson Hole for souvenirs and also like Western culture fashion. And we were trying to decide like between one fucking sweatshirt and another one. And one of our friends, Megan, said something. She shared what her dad used to say.
What?
To overanalyze is to paralyze. And it's so true. Wow. The next time you're overanalyzing something, notice how stuck you feel just in the moment, in your headspace physically. And when she said that, I was like, got it. I'm just going to take this one and keep moving on my day because we are spending way too many minutes in the souvenir shop.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I don't know. I can't make a decision. Just do it.
That's that. Jackson,
love it, Lauren. That sounds amazing.
It was. So you've planted your garden.
Lauren,
Michelle, she planted her garden, but I'm going to guess. You
Rhymes
planted
with
it?
planted. Yeah, I planted.
Okay,
Yeah,
how'd it go?
while you were exploring the Grand Tetons, I planted my garden, throw shit in and see what grows style. I saw an indigo bunting thanks to bird
So this
enthusiast
is a
Michael
bird.
Carroll. This is a bird. This is a and this was a bird that was not hanging out where I was on the trail with my friend Lindsay. This bird was, so here's the deal, guys. I go walking a lot in the woods and you make friends. I make friends with mushroom foragers. I make friends with
so
birders,
cool.
photographers. And unlike the folks you met over in Jackson Hole, these people are the most friendly people you've ever met. And you can't get them to stop being friendly. Okay.
It's funny you say that because there was a man on the road and he had his binoculars out and I'm like, pull over, let's see what he's looking at. And so I go, hi, what do you see? And he gave me like kind of a look and I go, what do you see? And he goes, osprey. And we're like, and bye.
Sorry, I asked. Bag of dicks.
So tell me about Mike Carroll. He seems a lot nicer.
So Mike Carroll's a bird enthusiast and a photographer. And he says that it's an obsession that's out of control. He says he's crazy. We say, stop saying those things about yourself, Michael, because this is a fabulous hobby and time well spent. Well, once he knew that we were into what he was into, he was a wealth of information. And he was so excited. He goes, have you guys ever seen an indigo bunting? And we're like, no, Mike, what are you talking about? He goes, come on. So we went down a little bit. He put out his little bird caller.
What is this bird caller? Like a noise?
It's a special little device that blasts out the noise of the bird. Will does it in our backyard. You can use the Autobahn app and you can play like cardinal noises. And then all of a sudden our backyard is swarming. Well, we sat for maybe a few minutes and he got a little nervous. He was like, oh God, the pressure's on. They're probably not going to come, but I know they're here. And well, he goes, you'll see, as soon as you see movement, you'll know. And you would not normally see this bird because they hang high up in the treetops. They're very small. And in my notes, they're nicknamed the blue canary. Okay. Well, sure as shit, all of a sudden, this tiny little bird about this big, as indigo blue as you've ever seen, comes down.
Like it's blue,
indigo blue, shiny, beautiful, iridescent, gorgeous, coolest bird I've ever seen. So I did just a little bit and this is the other thing he said, right now is migration season. So there are all kinds of things hanging about in the woods near where you are, at least in our part of the Midwest. So, So here, some research I did on the indigo bunting. This is native to Eastern North America and they winter in South Florida. So they're coming up from that area now.
Cool.
The one we saw was a male. Blue. They call it the blue canary, as I said. And they sing, and they're called the blue canary because they sing from dawn until dusk.
They are little songbirds.
And I read something that I thought was really funny. They sing identical tunes in their little groups, but then when they break off, they essentially write their own tunes or learn tunes from other birds.
Songwriters, or they gather and sing in unison with others.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it, that's so cool.
We beat the shit out of ourselves. We were so excited. Was so fun and exciting. But then I have to share a story, Lauren. I'm going to take you in a different direction because I had a bit of a brain fart yesterday, and I got myself into a pickle. I'm on the trail with a friend, and I get a call from everyone I know because I'm supposed to be at Lyons Township High School, okay, as a shark. All right. Now, I've told you this story already, yes. But I think that it's important for our listeners to hear this story because I beat the shit out of So I am far away from home, and now I have to run back.
And you're on foot.
And I'm on foot. And I have to run. Okay. Something I don't do. You guys know I walk. I walk pretty fast, but I mean, I'm not running. So Ryan is kind enough to wait for me at the mouth of the woods. I run inside. I take my sweaty clothes off. I put clothes over my sweaty body. I wash my face. I grab my makeup bag. I get in the car and I make myself look as normal as I possibly can so I can go there and show up, because this is truly, this is being a shark on the Shark Tank in the business school section at LT it's an honor and I love it. And these kids fill my bucket. And I'm excited to hear what kind of creative little think tanks are out in the world. And, I just want to say, because I was talking to my girlfriends and sharing this, and, we're talking about brain fog and menopausal symptoms and all of these things. And I just want to say, and my friend, she made me feel better because she was like, Michelle, I'm so with you on that. Like, that would be me. That would be something that I would do. And I want to say to like busy moms and people that are carrying a load and have the list and we're getting to the end of the school year and the mental load is heavy. Like, be kind to yourself. Okay. We do so much shit. And I was so down on myself. Like Ryan was like, he was like, whoa, because I was just so disappointed. I turned it around and I kind of want to say, like, you look back at those experiences and like, give yourself some credit. You do so much. Once in a while, we have slip ups, but you right the ship and everything works out. So that's just my message to busy people, moms in the world.
Dude, I had not the same experience, but I had kind of a similar day yesterday. I got back from the trip, a week before that, we went to Camp Wandawega. And so I think a lot of traveling, and then just mounting pressure and to-dos and feeling like, I haven't done enough. And I actually cried 3 different times yesterday, morning, noon, and night. And at the last one was the last one I was giving myself the last cry I did a yoga class upstairs because I was like, more than anything right now, I just need to do that.
Let it out.
I did that. I did yoga and then I cried during Shavasana and I was saying out loud, I was like, you did your cry, but you do so much. You do so much. You are kicking butt in ways that you can't see. You try hard. You do your best. Like, I was saying every all these single fucking day to remind myself that, okay, I had a little bit of a day. I was a little bit of a pussy yesterday. There's some other stuff that happened and I just needed that good cry. And I agree with you, Michelle. We have to remind ourselves that we are doing our best.
We are doing our best. And that is absolutely 100% good enough. And I will just say, Lauren, the woods, with my girlfriends that I walk with, oftentimes with Lindsay, the woods to folks out there that are bottling it up and holding it in and keeping it high and tight. It's such a wonderful place to be out in the world and in nature and green space. You feel bad no matter what. But if you knew, and I'm sure people on the trail hear us, we rage sometimes. Like we will be commiserating, telling a story, and someone will just we'll just let it out. It's primal. And you want to know what? That's as good as a good cry.
It is. It is. And I think anyone who has we all have access to nature and get out there. It's very healing. Or do a goddamn yoga class. Because I'll tell you what, I felt a million times better after that. Thank you for sharing that, Michelle.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We're going to move on soon in just a minute to Harrison Butker. Sorry, you guys. You can fast forward if you don't want to hear one more fucking ounce of dribble about this guy. But Michelle, on Sunday, just to go back real quick, you just reminded me, we did see bison, which was very cool.
Unreal.
We wanted, of course, to see a grizzly bear, specifically 399, which is 399 is coined the most famous bear in the world.
Oh, that's the name of a bear?
Yeah, I think it's her tag numbers.
Okay.
She's got 2 cubbies with her right now. She's 28 years old. She's had a lot of babies. I believe she had quadruplets at one point. And there's something interesting about her. She brings her cubs, I guess, and herself closer to where people are. And I guess that wards off the male grizzlies, because they want to mate, and that puts the cubs in danger and puts the female in danger. So she stays closer because the male grizzlies don't come as close, I guess,
when she's in mama bear.
Yeah. And she's supposed to be just magnificent. And there have been, in every gazette, like every little paper you find,
there's a sighting.
You'll see like confirmed sightings. But Michelle, get this. On Sunday, we leave to come home, and all over the news is 2 bears encountered a man. It was a surprise encounter, which I guess is most dangerous because you do your thing, all the things you got to do. And he was attacked and airlifted out of the Grand Tetons. So they closed down a portion of the park because there was a grizzly bear attack right where we were.
Now,
He was probably more inland. He was probably hiking and he was probably in the park, but like, had we gone on a hike, we would have seen more wildlife. What were you going to ask?
I was going to ask do you have any stats on attacks? Like, is this a common thing?
It does happen. Yeah. And
that is not something I'd want to get face to face with.
No, but we looked it up. If we made up a rhyme, if it's brown or a grizzly, lay down. If it's black, be prepared to fight back.
Fight back.
Because black bears fight back, I guess, if it gets to that point. They talk about bluffing where bears will kind of like huff towards you and kind of like to scare you.
Oh, yeah.
They're bluffing. So you do the big thing, like talk to them, put your arms up, show that you're there. And if they charge you with the brown and the grizzly, lay down, cover your neck and your head, and just hope for the best.
Cover your neck. Wow.
Cover your neck and head, because they say that if you fight back, it just is worse. Gets worse from there.
Shred you to death.
So there you go.
Yeah. Lauren, before we transition, I just want to do a quick shout out to Ryan Gerenstein, who is the business teacher at Lyons Township High School.
Oh, we're going back to LT.
I do. I just want to do one thing for a second, because I know we have a lot of local listeners and parents of teens and stuff like that. Guys, if you have business interested kids that are super curious and that might be an area you think this teacher cares so much about this program. He is so committed to inspiring these kids and giving them access to an opportunity to learn business in all of its different facets. I can't recommend him and that program at LT. It's fabulous. So cool. And he cares so much about these kids and what they're learning in his classroom.
He is helping create future entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
It's a hard gig, but if the more you learn about it when you're younger, the more fun it'll be when you get older.
Exactly.
All right. Let's now move on to our main topic. And you're probably like, how does this fit in with your branding and messaging? And I'm going to tell you how it does. But first, we're going to bitch about this guy, Harrison Butker, as we know, kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was asked to do a commencement speech at Benedictine College, where he kind of just went on and on about how, honestly, a women's place. I mean, if you don't know about this yet, then surprise. But everyone knows. So I'll keep it short, and then we'll just share some opinions. Basically, his views on women in the household: support the man, be the homemaker. It's the best thing you can do. Having babies is the best thing you can do. And his wife has supported him along the way. That's when he got choked up in a couple, crocodile tears came out. And then he went on to bash LGBTQ and Pride Month. And then he was getting political. And then he was just spitting venomous bullshit. And the reason why this makes me so mad is because I'm going to share maybe an unpopular opinion here, but any parent of a toddler who tells other people you should have babies, it's the best thing ever. You know what? It's fucking hard. And it's not always the best thing ever. And it's to push parenthood and motherhood onto somebody is fucking fucked up. And it makes me mad because that's not what everyone wants. And this message that women should be in the home procreating and building a homestead and supporting the man is so wildly archaic and draconian, because there's so much more behind that amps up this belief system. And it just really, it makes me really angry.
Your hide.
It makes me angry that we are in this year and we have someone who is just publicly telling
women
who are
getting
their degree
to do that,
and are sitting there after a huge accomplishment, finishing college, and maybe going out to pursue their careers. And he badmouthed that too. Oh, you're probably sitting here thinking about your next promotion. So what? What if that's what someone wants? Why does your stupid opinion matter here?
I was offended to the core that he was assuming that these new graduates were mostly excited about meeting a husband and having a family.
What if they're not into guys?
He just assumed that blanketed statement, that gross generalization was the thought of all of the people that were sitting there. But I have to say, because it kind of freaks me out, that the audience from the clapping, and I didn't see the clapping, I just heard it, so I can't
you don't know who that was coming from, right?
So excited about these really lame speech, and that's the other thing I thought, like, wow,
Newsbury.
Wow,
so boring.
You're the kicker. You kick a ball okay, for a football team. And you get the right to come up here. I'm so sick and tired of certain celebrities and high profile athletes and people getting a platform just because they can kick a ball. What are you offering to society?
Like, offer some substance.
Yeah, seriously, I can't.
I think the other problem here is that amount of pressure that this man goes up there. And I do hope that there are some wise women in there that were internally just giving him the fucking middle finger, being like,
bird USA,
you, dude. The pressure that women already have in this society to do it all, to stay fit, to stay young, to have the kids and have a bit and have, their career, to get married, to be with a man, to marry well. For this guy to get up there and this is his entry into adulthood speech to these people is maddening, and it makes me wildly upset because it's just another man telling women, we need to do more.
Yep.
And I want to where's the part where you guys don't do anything? Pack your bags, go see the world.
Explore.
What is
go
this?
Take
go
a trip.
Go find a husband. What? You're 21 years old.
That man.
Go have fun. Go make out. Go do all of the things. But it's just so offensive.
What else is offensive? What else is offensive is how about, I don't know, I'm looking around. It seems like everybody in my neighborhood, for the most part, moms and dads are working. Okay. So happy for his privileged ass wife who's got a fucking NFL kicker's salary to support her ability to support him in his dumb career. Literally, I hope his knee blows out. Seriously. Seriously. ACL tear, crabs and an ACL tear. That's how I feel.
I know. I agree.
It's dumb.
And it's so ironic is that just a simple Google search, or if you get the right TikTok that gives you the information you so badly need in this moment of rage, you will find that his mom is
a renowned physicist,
extremely successful yet at Emory, and she works in the oncology department. She's probably helping save lives and doing some serious research.
Be more like your mom.
Be more like mama, right? And the other thing is that he was afforded this wonderful, luxurious lifestyle of privilege, and partially because of his mom's success as well. So it's just mind blowing how he can encourage this group of women to get in the home quickly, spread your legs, make babies, find your husband so that the men can live their dreams. And this whole thing about encouraging men to be more masculine. Where's the masculinity? Men aren't any masculine anymore. You guys go fly a kite.
I'm trying to breathe.
Who gives an F how masculine someone is, or whatever happened to, why can't people just live their life and their dreams and do it their own way, and everyone can shut the fuck up and just be nice to one another? Whatever happened to that?
It's gone at Benedictine. It doesn't exist there. He's the pits. And further, because I'm getting real petty, that beard, grody. Okay.
I know.
That's a dirty, gross beard.
I know. There's so much
gross beard. And he's very well dressed. Very well dressed.
He doesn't, he's not spewing masculinity to me. Does he think that a nice suit and a beard
and a fancy bag and a Birkin? The guy's walking around with Birkins.
Metrosexual.
Come on. I don't know, but fancy bags. He's got a thing for bags.
Well, let's give a shout out and a thank you to Pearl Jam's Eddie Vedder for weighing in. Have you ever seen him in concert? Dude.
Maybe a million years ago.
Anthony was once randomly, he's like, I got tickets. We're going to Wrigley Field. And I was like, I'm not really a Pearl Jam fan. And then I became one that night in the middle of the concert.
Well,
he has got a voice.
His voice is so good. So haunting. So awesome.
He was in Vegas and he was performing with, I apologize because I only clipped a part of this article, but he was playing with another act. And he wanted to point out that the singer, Jessica, and keyboard player, Patty, that they must not have believed the diabolical lie that women should take pride in taking the backseat to their man because they are the front woman and in the band and kicking ass.
Yep. Shout out. That guy's sexy.
He also wrote, and I love this because I also find this to be extraordinarily sexy. There's nothing more masculine than a strong man supporting a strong woman.
Fucking woman.
There is a video out there of Javier Bardem.
I'm aroused.
You're going to get more aroused. Everyone, grab your phones right now and prepare to become aroused because there is this video of Javier Bardem who is being interviewed on a panel for a film. And it was for a film that he did with his wife, Penelope Cruz. And in Spanish, the journalist asks Javier, he says, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this because he is so sexy. He says the journalist says something like, oh, how like horrible, tragic was it to be working with your wife? Of all people to work with, like you had to work with your wife on this film. And Javier makes this face. He just like crinkles his nose and he's like, and in like this sexy Javier Bardem voice just says like, that is the most inappropriate and I will not even answer or entertain your question, and just praises his wife. And I'm like, and that's why you two also probably have a beautiful, I'm just going to assume a really lovely relationship.
A balanced give and take relationship where might not the woman revolve around the man, but there might be a partnership where they walk through life together. Who would have thunk it?
And you know what's so funny? Why is it that like this idea he's projecting, this Harrison
trying to
fellow,
bubble down I'm so activated by this whole thing.
It's like men are superior than women. Men go out, live their dreams, become successful. They will bring the bacon home, and women, and not that being a mother and stay-at-home mom is an easy job. And that's another thing that's a misconception here. He's making it seem like a walk in a park. Like, I'm going to go be successful. You're just going to be. There's so much struggle to motherhood.
He's an idiot.
He forgot to add all of that.
This is a person who has no fucking perception. He has he clearly hasn't put himself in the shoes. I'd like to switch roles with that idiot for one day. He wouldn't last 2 minutes in my mothering shoes trying to manage everything. He wouldn't last 2 fucking minutes.
You brought up a great point earlier. They have an enormous amount of wealth.
Yeah.
So mom, his wife at home, probably is like off getting a manicure and pedicure while the nannies. Like, it's just all a bunch of smoke and mirrors and bullshit. And it is all, let's be clear, okay? It is all an agenda. Mm-hmm. It is messaging. It is all vote this way, not that way. Let's keep this Christian ideology moving strong in this country. And women belong at home, and it's bananas. And I'm glad that even the nuns of this college spoke out and in defiance of what he said. So bravo to Eddie, bravo to the nuns, and bravo to everyone raising their voices, because who hears this? Young kids hear this. Young boys hear this and think, oh, okay, so I need to become successful, find myself a wife, instead of I can do whatever I want. And when and if I find myself my partner, we want to have equal playing fields.
Exactly.
But no, we've got some fucked up messaging going on. So have those conversations with the kids, you guys, and let's talk about how dumb that guy is. Let's not put him up on any more pedestals.
And also, our kids model what they see too. So
that's my point, right?
Yeah, you lead by example, and it's like the words don't even have to be spoken. Sometimes we need to point it out, but lead by example.
Wow. There was a lot of outrage from everybody. Yeah, well, as there should be, fired up, because I feel like this is someone who, with the platforms that we have accessible now, where you can see, read, and hear everything, we have to drown that noise out. Because if we keep allowing it to be elevated, it's going to get scary. I mean, there's so much more. I won't go into it, but I'm just going to tap on that a little bit this door. What he is projecting and what he's talking about, he is in the same lane as putting my reproductive health and the reproductive health of millions of women and young girls' lives in jeopardy. That is his part of his agenda. This procreate, make babies, because there's some fucked up thing going on that we think that everyone should make babies and you should be a mother whether you want to be or not. And it's not normal. It's not healthy. It's very scary. And if we don't wake up and listen to what's going on and take action and have these conversations, we will find ourselves in a very, very scary, draconian type of situation. It's called Handmaid's Tale, and it is real.
It is. It is.
Now, I just will leave that there.
Take a breath.
Back to
take a beat.
Conversations. Because I'll tell you what, there's nothing cozy about that guy or his vibe.
Or his beard. Or his beard.
Get it together. Get it together. All right. Our favorite.
Get it
together. We will switch gears here. We're moving into our lightning round of reading, watching, listening to. I will go first with reading. I'm in a very bad reading slump. So I am reading nothing.
Oh,
I am
man.
just nothing.
Bummer, Rooney, but you'll get back on track soon.
I can't
Don't
wait.
beat yourself up.
I'm not.
Someone's going to come with a good, indigenous people of North American, North America book, and you're going to be back on track.
And what about you? You're reading the Longboats. You're still on Vikings.
And I'm still reading the Longboats. I actually put this book in my Cozy Mindful Wellbeing, but let's talk about it now. I also picked up a book. My neighbor and I traded cookbooks. We were talking Blue Zones. We were talking sourdough.
Cool.
She said, I have this really cool cookbook called Icaria. It's one of the it's the Blue Zones, one of the Blue Zones in Greece. And so I traded her my Blue Zone cookbook, and
it's not that good if you ask me. You lucked out.
I told her that. I said, after I read this, I said to her, this one's better.
Yeah. But so is it all Greek food?
Well, it's just how these folks eat there. And I have to say, so yes, veggies, beans are the main event, fish, beans, veggies. Okay. And grains. That's what we're leading with. And bread. They're eating sourdough, things like that. But what I've noticed, like in their soups, no one's using chicken stock and bouillon. Okay.
What are they using?
Water and vegetables and beans or whatever fish they're putting in or whatever meat they're using.
Interesting, Michelle, because I know you like the I like
bouillon. That. Yes, bouillon. I do like that bouillon.
Yeah.
And it really does give it a lot of flavor. And I'm sad to say that I think that if I made a pot of soup with delicious veggies and followed this, I'm going to make some stuff out of this because I'm super curious. But what I like about this book is everything's the recipes are real accessible. Like
sure, it's
the
not
ingredients.
Like you've got to go to a special market or go downtown to Greek town.
So, lessons on food, life, and longevity from the Greek islands where people forget to die. Unlike us,
we're all worried about dying.
We're all scared shitless about it.
God,
but these
damn
guys,
it.
not a care in the world because they're leading with leafy green vegetables. And
USA. Where we get food that's banned in other countries.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
Welcome to America. Let's make it great again. Cool.
Okay, I'm watching nothing. I'm so excited though to cozy up tonight and watch what you watched, the Ashley Madison documentary, or is it docuseries?
It's a three-part docuseries. It's a one-night bingeable series.
I remember when this all went down. So Ashley Madison is that website where you have like secret love affairs, basically.
Yeah, it was basically like the Tinder for married folks who were seeking adultery. Correct.
Wow.
And they protected their data got released. And then their data got released. And then this series profiles a couple of people. So many thoughts. Let's not talk about it. You need to watch it, and we're going to talk about it on the podcast.
Okay.
What?
So viewer, you have a week. Watch it with us. Let's do this. We love when this happens. So watch Ashley Madison on Netflix, and we will discuss.
And join us for our discussion. Yes.
Week.
Absolutely.
Love that. Okay, I am, and when it comes to listening, so I binged a couple podcasts on my flights to and from, and one of the ones that I walked away being like, okay, this is a remember one, was a Mel Robbins episode on like thinking this one way will change your life. And she talks about coincidences.
Yep.
And she talks all about coincidences and that she's like, coincidences are bullshit. There's no such thing. Everything happens for a reason. She's like, when you are at a party and you randomly walk up and you find a friend who's a friend who went to the same high school that you went to, and you guys are reconnecting and you find out you're like in the same industry. She's like, that's not a coincidence. That's the universe bringing that union together, whatever it might be, or whatever happens that you think is a coincidence. She is saying that is the universe dropping like little nuggets, little
winks,
little winks, saying like, I got you. I hear what you're wanting. I'm trying to help, get you into this path. Take it, like hold on to it and acknowledge it. And she also talked about in this episode, manifesting. And she talks about how if you want something, say it. So she says, state it and claim it. So stating it. So she gives an example about a quilt that she was looking for in, wherever. And it was a really long story and it was really cool the way it all wrapped up. But basically she wanted something. She said she wanted something while going into this flea market antique store, huge, like 6 football fields long. And by the end of her journey throughout the entire thing, she came about this quilt that she wanted in the same colors. And not only that, it was a wedding quilt, and the names of the last names of the family on it were Sawyer. And she was actually walking in her little stroller, her baby daughter, Sawyer. And so she had to get it, right?
That's crazy.
And she just goes on to say that if you state it and then you claim it, so you state like, oh, I really want to get this partnership with this brand Michelle and I have been working for. Like, I want it. I'm going to get it. I'm actually going to find it. I'm going to get it. It's going to happen. And then when it happens, claim it and celebrate it with the two of us, whatever, whoever. And, you state it and claim it. And it's all about just empowering, I think, your everyday life to acknowledge that there is so many things in your favor that are happening.
100%. And to not be afraid to say the thing, no matter how big or crazy, whatever it is, say it. Who cares?
Who cares?
It doesn't matter, because you got to put it out there, and then you do harness it. And we've seen it. Like, we've celebrated this in moments.
Totally. We tried manifesting. I listened to this podcast episode, and then we were all in different seats on the airplane. So I was like, you guys, let's manifest that we're sitting together. I'm like, I manifest. And one of our friends was like in row 38. I'm like, I'm manifesting that you will not be in 38. You will be next to me. And it didn't work. But I think for the next year, there's something to be said about the next time.
I talk to my kid for sure. Now, I talk about this with my kids all the time. And I'm going to share a story where Will manifested something that happened on Saturday. I was driving him to the caddy yard because he's caddying this summer. And how they get their loop, is by they draw a number out of the bag. And you could be number 1 or you could be 15. But if you're 15, you're sitting there for quite some time until your loop comes up.
Yeah.
And he's like, I hope I'm the first, I hope I get a good draw. And I'm like, you want the first loop, say it. You want the first loop. 15 minutes later, got the first loop.
No.
I'm already on the green. I literally texted him, you manifested that.
Yes,
You did that.
And then he claimed it. That is wild. Yeah, you guys just say it and claim it. Get out there. Whatever it is you want. Even if it doesn't work, don't be disappointed by it, but keep doing it.
Have fun with it.
Exactly. That's what we were doing with the airplane seats. We're like, I'm manifesting.
Mom and I used to do that when we go shopping with the parking spot.
Yep.
Let's get that first spot. And we fucking manifest that thing.
And we always talk about how it's probably better to get the spot far away.
More steps. Not us. It was assigned to us that we were going to find all the things we wanted.
Yep. I love it. Okay, cool. And what are you listening to? Oh, you're listening to ADHD is Awesome by Penn. By the way, I love his name.
Oh, and Penn and Kim Holderness.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So how is it?
I'm listening to it. I'm listening to the audiobook on Spotify. I re-upped my hours after, you ran out of the 15 you get a month or whatever. It's incredible. I think that this is a book that it would benefit a spouse of an ADHDer to listen to.
It would benefit.
I'm enjoying it so much. The book, I really enjoy the book because it's different than any audiobook I've ever heard. Penn and his wife, they're content creators. They work very closely together. So he's reading the book, but then they're having breaks in the book, and they're having conversations with each other and sharing anecdotal stories, or she's chiming in about, maybe what is her perspective, and, living with a man who goes somewhere and continuously loses his keys, just understanding how our brain works and breaking it down in layman's terms. It's not super sciencey. It's like real people.
Oh, I love
talk.
that. Sure.
It's fabulous.
It's relatable.
And again, Will is a topic of this podcast, I guess, today, because I actually, I'm going to admit that I bribed him this morning because I want him to read this book or listen to it.
Yeah.
And because I think that it will change his perspective on his own experience. And I told him this morning, because his AirPods got stolen. But anyway, they're gone. And I said, I'm going to make a deal with you. I'm like, if you shake on listening to this book on Audible, I will replace your earpods.
Oh, that's
your
a
AirPods.
Great deal.
And he is game on, because it's important for me and for kids like me and Will and whatever to understand sooner rather than when they're 35, that their neurodivergent brain is incredible.
Yeah.
And if
there's nothing wrong, it's not that and it's not wrong. It's not bad.
But that's what society has made it seem. And so these guys destigmatize it. But to understand, like, if I would have understood the creative abilities that I had earlier, I would have been in a different place. No regrets. This is my journey. I'm actually exactly where I'm supposed to be. But that's what I love about this whole thing. And I think it's I understand why it's a New York Times bestseller.
Cool. Well done. I would love to get them on the podcast. Just going to put
I know.
that out
Yeah.
there. Come on,
Kim and Penn. Kim, you were just talking about how
us.
you were wanting to try and be okay with being less busy. Come talk to us. We're your girls. That's
trying
what
hard
we
to do
talk
the
about.
same freaking thing.
Yep.
All right. Well done. And congrats on your book release. You guys, what are we doing for our mindful or cozy mindful well-being? As I mentioned earlier, I had a good cry yesterday. I felt so much better this morning. I didn't want it to lag into my next day. I was having a day, and Anthony is a great support system. I will say he helps dig me out of, he is so good at helping me reframe my thoughts.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
he hears me, and he doesn't say like, that's a stupid way to think. He's like, okay, I hear what you're saying. How can we make it? How can we spin it? And we work on it. And I'm really grateful for him for doing that, because he is kind of like an in-house therapist.
Yeah, he's a professional script flipper.
He really is. And I encourage anyone out there, if you need to let that cry go. It was being held in so much throughout the day that once it came out, and now with this new day, like I mentioned, I feel I'm ready to fucking go. LFG.
Love it. God, I love when you're in that space.
Let's fucking go. And it looks like you're flipping. You're flipping.
I am, but I'm gonna share something else because I shared. My cozy mindful well-being is consisting of, back at it, my morning routine in my garden, where I go out there with my cup of coffee, with my AirPods in my ears. I get the hose out, I go water, talk to my plants, pull some weeds, clip some things, do what I do to inspire. I mean, and right now is the most lush time of the season because it's spring, it's rainy, so everything's so vibrant and green, and I'm just kind of enjoying it. And yeah,
you know, Luna and I are going to go. You've inspired me. We're going to go to Home Depot and get our garden stuff today.
Hell yeah!
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right, you guys, listen. Don't listen to Harrison. Number 1. Number 2, slow down. Number 3, steer clear of the cicadas.
Or not, because they're so fun. They're really added a layer of excitement to our visits out into the outdoors.
Not everyone feels that same
There's
way.
an abundance of crunching under our feet.
I'm going to throw up. That's disgusting. You guys avoid the cicadas at all costs and
stay cozy, friends.
Thank you for joining us for today's cozy conversation. For more of The Sister Project, check us out on Instagram at The Sister Proj and our website, www.thesisterprojectblog.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and maybe even drop us a review. Until next time, stay cozy.